Hey everyone. I did not want another day to go by without sending a quick message, just some open thoughts about what's happening in the world today. The last few months have been difficult. Just the past week, I have just been heartbroken, sad, and questioning a lot, frankly. Watching the brutal killing and unjustified killing of George Floyd by a few bad people or corrupt police officers, has left, a big part of the country and frankly the world in, a state of anguish and anger. And, obviously I don't know what it's like to be a person of color. It's 2020. You would think that racism and sexism was a thing of the past. And just watching all the protesting going on, not just here in the States, but everywhere, has just kind of brought to light that racism is very much real. And it's incredibly upsetting. And so since I don't know what it's like to be a person of color, Robert Smith, founder, CEO, and chairman founder and CEO of Vista, on the board of Mediaocean, he sent a email to the Vista employees. He copied all of the CEOs of the portfolio companies, and I'd just like to read a couple of things that he wrote in this email. Again, this is from Robert Smith. When I see the face of George Floyd, I see myself as a young man. I see the faces of my children. I am reminded of the many times in my life when I have been judged, not by my character, but by my skin color. I'm not alone. I can still vividly recall the pain I felt as a youth when I found my mother and father comforting each other as they just learned that my uncle was shot dead by a white gas station attendant. I was quite confused by this, as my uncle, who had just received his master's degree and was recently married, was quite excited about having landed a job with the state of Colorado inspecting various facilities across the state. Apparently, this gas station attendant couldn't imagine why an African American would have a state gas card and felt the appropriate action was to shoot and kill him. That was almost 50 years ago, and the pain still lingers. In so many ways, this is a better, stronger, more inclusive country and world than it has ever been. In other ways, progress still feels so elusive. There is so much hate, bigotry, anger, violence, and misunderstanding in our society that it's a lot harder to overlook after the events of this last week. It's natural to feel helpless in the light of the events we're seeing in the news. Each of us has to choose to overcome this. Each of us can embrace the words of Dr. Martin Luther King when he spoke at a sermon in Montgomery, Alabama in 1957. He said, "We must discover the redemptive power of love. And when we discover that, we will be able to make this old world a new world." I'm going to be working with Jessica and a few others to figure out what, if anything, we, Mediaocean, can do, what I can do to add and try to show light on what's happening here. But I think, the message that I want to send is let's, each of us hold the people we love a little tighter maybe this week and this weekend. Let's do our part, in Robert's words, to make this old world a new world. And obviously we have a lot of work to do. I'm going to try to do my part. And if any of you have recommendations on things that we can be doing, things that I can be doing, please send them over. And again, I kind of didn't have anything scripted. I didn't, other than Robert's email. I'm kind of just speaking from the heart. My heart goes out to everyone in pain. The rioting, happening across the states is just a shame, because it takes away from the message that the peaceful protesters, are trying to convey. And just like there's, a handful of corrupt police officers there are also a handful of corrupt protesters, and that shouldn't take away from the message. So if anyone has any recommendations, if anyone has any feedback, please share it with me, and more to come on this in the coming week or so. All right. Thanks, everyone.